Hello and welcome to a Project Cars 2 video where today we're going to take a look at the highly anticipated game mode Online Championships, which is now available with the latest patch, patch 3.0. Now it can be found over on the community tab of Race Central and under Online Championships, and selecting it will take you to the Online Championships main screen. Now at the top here you can see 6 slots. These are specifically reserved for online championships that you yourself have created, you are running and you're an admin of. And down the bottom we've got the slots that are reserved for online championships that you've been invited to participate in, either as a driver competing, a race director or a broadcaster. Now in total you can be involved with up to 14 online championships at any one time, and 6 of these are specifically reserved to online championships that you've created, and 8 of them are specifically reserved to online championships that you've been invited to participate in. If you have, for instance, all 8 participating slots filled and you want to be invited to another online championship, you'll have to delete an existing participating online championship in order to free up one of those slots. Likewise, if you've created 6 online championships yourself and you want to create a new one, you will need to delete one of your created online championships, preferably one that's finished, to then free up a slot to create a brand new championship. Now online championships is all very much a private affair. It all works within your platform's friends system. There's no public online championships where people create online championships and you can freely sign up. That doesn't work like that. Likewise, when you're creating an online championship, you don't get random people signing up. Instead, you invite or get invited to online championships from your friends. So you need to have either the admin who is setting up an online championship on your friends list in order for them to invite you into their online championship, or likewise, if you're creating an online championship, you can only invite your friends from your platform's friends list. Now as you can see, I don't have any online championships that I've been invited to yet. Likewise, I haven't created any online championships either. So we're now actually going to take a look at the creation process of setting up an online championship. And to start this, you simply hit the create new button here and you get taken to the online championship creation screen. Now at the top is where you type in or set up the name of your online championship. So I'm just going to very quickly change this to Yorkies OC. And then the next option, which you don't have to necessarily use or set up, is the Motorsport Presets. Now these work in the same way as they do in custom event and online custom event, and are very useful for tailoring specific settings to a certain type of motorsport discipline. I would highly recommend using these if you plan on setting up an online championship that is based on rallycross or kart racing, as all the car classes and all the tracks get tailored specifically to those motorsport disciplines. Likewise with the settings, with the rallycross joker laps and everything, for all that system to work properly with the proper penalties, you need to enable the rallycross motorsport preset. But like I said, you don't necessarily have to select one of these and you can create an online championship without it. So we're going to go ahead and do exactly that. Now the first thing that we're going to do is take a look at the schedule. Here is where you set up all the rounds for your online championship, and in total you can have up to 24 rounds. To add a new round, obviously hit the add new round button and you get taken to the edit round screen, where here at the top you've got 2 very important settings. Now these scheduled round date and scheduled round time serve as both one, an informative purpose for those who are participating in your online championship to get an idea as to when each round is due to take place, but it is also used to determine the order of the rounds in your online championship. So for setting the scheduled round date, simply go in and choose the date that you plan to actually run your round on. For instance, we could set it to the 10th of December here, and I want the round to take place at 7 o'clock in the evening. Now obviously track select is where you go ahead and pick the circuit that you want for this round. Race settings is the same as custom event and online custom event, where obviously you set up the duration, whether it's time or by laps, the number of laps or the amount of time. You can choose the date, the season, the weather, the start type, all the usual things there. And then likewise with the session settings, you got the same here, where you can turn on and off the practice sessions and qualifying for each round, and also determine how long those sessions are and the weather settings for those sessions too. Once you save your round, it will then appear on the round championship screen here. Now if we just quickly go ahead and set up another round, so if we put this to Long Beach, let's put it to 4 days later than it was planned, same time again, and this time we won't bother with practice and qualifying session. You'll see that the second round has been added to the schedule screen. So I've now very quickly just gone ahead and created a number of rounds that you can see here. And as you can see, they're all listed in date order, and then they're also listed in time order as well. As you can see, these are both set to the 14th of December, but this first round is due to take place at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then this one is due to take place at 9 o'clock in the evening. Now if I wanted to change the order of this round schedule, I could simply go into an event, and for instance, if I wanted to make this round 2, the first round was on the 10th of December and then the second round was due on the 14th. If I go ahead and set this to the 12th of December and hit save, it'll then move the Silverstone circuit, or the round that was due to take place at Silverstone, to round 2, and it's bumped the other slots there along as well. So whilst these two settings are obviously very useful for ordering the round and actually providing information for those participating in your championship, it's still down to the admin to actually launch the lobby at that time. It's not an automated system, it has to be done manually, so you have to make sure that the admin is present in order to launch the round for the scheduled round date and scheduled round time, and obviously then everyone will be able to join for that round of the online championship and participate in the practice, the qualifying session, the race, whatever settings you have set up for that round. One final option that is available is obviously being able to delete rounds as well. If I simply hit that, it'll take the round off the round schedule screen, and all the rounds will be shuffled back into order again in order of their date and also their scheduled time. So now that I've got a few rounds set up, I can go ahead and set up the car classes. Now here is where you select which car classes you want to be running in your online championship. For instance, if I wanted to create an online championship based around GT3, just select the GT3 option, hit save, and then when it comes to editing the driver roster, which was previously locked out, I have to set up the car classes first. When it comes to editing the driver roster, all the cars that I'll be selecting for the people participating in my online championship will be restricted to the GT3 car class. Likewise, if I was to go and select GT4, they will all be restricted to GT4. If I go ahead and select the multi-class race by selecting multiple car classes, then the cars that will be available for choosing and applying to other drivers will be restricted to LMP1, LMP2 and GTE car classes. Now as usual, you can have up to a maximum of 4 car classes. However, if you don't set up any car classes and simply come into the screen and then just hit save, you'll be able to unlock the driver roster and you'll be able to use any car in the game of your choosing. For now though, however, I am going to set up an LMP1, LMP2 and GTE based online championship, and then we're going to go into the driver roster. Now here is where you put all your drivers into your online championship, get them in, and you also actually choose their cars and liveries that they're going to be running in your online championship. Now on PC you'll be able to have up to 32 drivers in your online championship, and then for consoles you will have up to 16. To add a new driver, simply hit the add driver button, and then you'll be presented with your friends list on your platform's friends system. So obviously I'm on PC, so this is all my Steam friends, and at the top here I've actually got myself, and this is because the admin needs to be involved in the online championship one way or another, whether that's either as a driver or as a director or as a broadcaster. You have to occupy one of those 3 slots as an admin in order for your online championship to be successfully set up and for it to start running. So I'm going to add myself here as a driver, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick the car that I want for myself, and I can also go ahead and pick the livery as well. Now obviously I'm going to take the Audi R18 Quattro. Now I'm simply going to hit save, and I'm going to get added to the driver roster screen here. Now I'm going to quickly go ahead and add a couple of other people, and I'm also going to pick their cars for them as well, and also as an admin you actually pick their liveries too. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of more drivers. Let's get this guy in. I'm going to put him in the Corvette. And as you can see at the top here, we've also got a breakdown summary of the car classes and how many people are within each class. For instance, if I go ahead and add another driver to the LMP1 car class with the Toyota here, I've now got 2 drivers in LMP1, 1 driver in GTE and 1 driver in LMP2. Now as you can see, I've gone ahead and added a bunch more drivers, and I've got 11 drivers in my online championship now, various different car classes and different cars. Some of them are matching with matching car designs. I'm actually going to quickly change this guy to be with the same car design but also a slightly alternate livery in terms of colours. As you can see, it's changed a couple of bits from purple to yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and set that and hit save. Now if I really wanted to, I can go ahead and actually delete a driver from my online championship as well. If you accidentally add someone, you can hit yes and it will remove them from your online championship and adjust things here. Now at the top we've got two different options as well. If you really wanted to, you can actually randomize all the cars, and this will do it within the confines of the car classes that you have previously selected. And obviously as you just keep hitting that, it will randomize the cars and the liveries as well. So as you can see, I've gone through and randomized it a whole bunch of times, and if I really wanted to, I can actually go ahead and also set all the drivers to be an identical car to a highlighted opponent. So I've highlighted Bam Kaki here. He's in the BMW M6 GTE car, and if I hit this button, all other drivers are going to be placed into the BMW M6 GTE as well, but also their liveries are going to be randomized as well. So not everybody's going to be in the same livery, which is quite useful. And basically, if you wanted to create a single make championship, you can do it that way, nice, quickly and easily. So now that I'm quite happy with all the drivers that I've got, and actually I'm going to randomize them a little bit more just so we've got a variety of different cars and different car classes. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and now actually set up the teams. Now all the drivers that I've added into my online championship are listed down here on the right hand side, and then over on the left is the place where I set up the teams. So to simply create a new team, you obviously hit the add new button here, and then you'll be taken to the team configuration screen where you can enter in your team name and also select who will actually be in that team. Now this list is populated by all the people who have been set up in the driver roster for the online championship, and the actual makeup of teams can be pretty much however you want it. You can have all the drivers individually in their teams by themselves, and obviously that is the maximum number of teams that you can have in an online championship. So for PC obviously that would be 32, and then for console that would be 16. Or you could do it in a traditional like F1 style where you have 2 drivers per team, or you can have 3 drivers per team, or 4 drivers, 5, however you want. You can even have the entire online championship divided into 2 and have a team red and a team blue, and the drivers split evenly between the teams and be scoring points for those team championships. Obviously this works fantastically for leagues, it works fantastic for having fun with mates where you basically divide up into 2 teams, and it also works fantastically for esports as well, where you may have 3 or 4 drivers per esport team participating in an online championship, and you'll be able to add all those drivers into the same team to be scoring team points. Now for this team, Team Red, I'm just going to simply add a few drivers. Let's get Andy Tudor in here and also Fizzy as well. Closing that, we've got all the drivers there, and then hitting save. I've now got the team added to the teams list, and also as you can see on the right hand side in the driver roster, we've actually got next to each name the team that they belong in, and then when you hover over a team, it will also highlight in the driver roster who is actually in that team. So I'm going to go ahead and make a team blue, and I'm going to add a couple of drivers to this one. Let's get the 2 LG guys in. I'm actually only going to have 2 drivers for this team, so obviously they're at a disadvantage straight away. And let's make a team green, and then we're just going to add the remaining drivers in this case to this team. So you can see this has now been populated, and it highlights all the drivers who are in the makeup of the teams. If I really wanted to, you can actually take people out of a team, save that. Obviously I've now been removed from Team Red. I can go ahead and put myself in another team there, into Team Blue, and as you can see it updates quite nicely there as well. Now you don't have to set up teams if you don't want to. You can have everybody individually, but then nobody will be scoring in towards the team championship. Likewise, if you actually set up some teams but you have 1 or 2 people who aren't in a team, those people won't be actually scoring any team championship points, whereas those who are in a team will obviously be scoring towards the team championship. Now the next option is to set up the eSports settings, and here's where you invite the director and your broadcaster into your online championship if you want them to be involved. And also the pre-race screen option is here as well, the wait for race ready input, and obviously turning that off will get rid of the pre-race screen at the beginning of the race, and when it goes from a qualifying session or into the race, it'll go straight into the grid and you won't have that pre-race screen there. That's what this option does. Obviously if you wish for drivers to be able to set up or make final adjustments to their pit strategies and also select their car setup for the race, then obviously it's handy to have the pre-race screen option turned on, and drivers will be able to do that. Now obviously we're going to go in and add in a director, and as you can see I've got my Steam friends list back up here as well, and I've also got ticks next to the people who have already been invited to my online championship. Now I'm actually going to scroll down, and there's Actual Vision as well, so I'm actually going to invite him to be the director for my online championship. And if I wanted to, I don't have to have a broadcaster. However, if I want to have a broadcaster, I need to have a director first. Now let's actually go and add someone in to be my broadcaster. I'm going to go ahead and put Dinda in, and hilarious little profile picture there. So I've got those settings now set up, and hit save. But if you wanted to, you don't actually have to have a director or a broadcaster in my online championship. Next up is the Realism Settings. Again, this is exactly the same as it is in Online Custom Event, where I can choose what kind of driving aids I want enabled, whether I want damage enabled in my online championship, mechanical failures, ghosted cars, whether I want to force manual pit stop or pit stop errors, whether I want tyre wear, whether I want fuel depletion, or whether I want to force a cooldown lap. This can all be configured here in the Realism Settings. The last one is the rules and regulations, and here you can set up what type of penalties that you want within your online championship, and also whether you want the competitive racing license system turned on or off. Now, as this is a private affair and you're inviting the drivers into your online championship, you don't need to worry about setting the minimum requirement for the racing license in order for people to join, because you're inviting people into the championship. It basically allows you to invite anyone in, and it's all based essentially on the trust and the knowledge that the admin is happy with those people coming in and being involved in their online championship, rather than trying to filter people out by their racing license. So I'm happy with those settings. I'm just going to hit save, and then that's my online championship pretty much created. If I then go and hit save, then come back to the online championship main screen, and you can see my online championship has been put there in the creation round. You can see that the first round is scheduled for the 10th of December at 7 o'clock. It's going to be at Mazda Laguna Raceway. I'm going to be driving in the LMP1 class, and then I've got an overall position here, and then if I actually go ahead and I'm actually racing or have competed and done some rounds in the online championship, this position will update based on my driver's position. Now when you click on the online championship, you come up with a couple of options here. You've got the view info, which will actually allow you to go into the online championship, and you can see the results here for each round. Obviously where we haven't actually completed any rounds, none of this results stuff has updated yet, and then you can also see the standings here as well. And also you can actually switch between whether you want to view the driver standings and also the team standings, and you can also do it by class as well, where obviously this is a multi-class race. We've got multiple classes in our online championship. You can show that here. So if we go back to the results, also quickly up in the top right we've got the rules and regulations, and this actually shows you the point system that we have, and also walks through the grid placement if you don't have qualifying sessions set up for each round. Obviously if you've got a qualifying session, then the grid placement would be based on the qualifying results, but if you don't have any qualifying sessions, the grid placement is all explained in this section of text here. So I'm going to quickly jump out of this, and then I've got a couple of other options. Obviously I've got an option here to delete my online championship, but I've also got an option to edit my online championship as well after it has already been created. Now the vast majority of settings that we had available to us in the creation process of our online championship will also be available here. For instance, I could go ahead and change all of the realism settings, I could go ahead and change all the rules and regulations settings, I can change my director and broadcaster if I wanted to. Likewise, I can set up or turn on and off the pre-race screen with the race ready input. I can also go ahead and actually schedule the round, and I can actually add new rounds as well. Providing that I haven't completed the last round of the championship, I can go ahead and add new rounds, but obviously this needs to actually be before the date of the current date that you're actually setting up the online championship. For instance, I'm currently recording this video on the 2nd of December 2017. I can't go any lower than the 2nd of December. I have to go further ahead in time and schedule the round ahead in time. And if I, for instance, go ahead and put it for the 11th of December, for 7 o'clock, it will go ahead and add the new round there in the middle. So you can edit your round schedule during your online championship if you wanted to. Say for instance you had a bad race in your league and you wanted to reschedule or rerun a round, you can go ahead, and providing you haven't used up all 24 of your online championship round slots, you can go ahead and add a new round for any point during your online championship. You can put it at the end, you can put it in the middle and schedule it before another date, another round, but of course make sure that the dates are actually accurate to the actual day that you plan on running a round if you're running them at a specific time and date. So one of the things that is actually unique to editing an online championship is being able to edit the standings and the amount of points that each driver in your online championship has. Now this is obviously extremely useful if, for instance, you're in an esports tournament or a league and they have a post-race stewards board where you could go ahead and post incidents and stewards inquiries, which then get reviewed, and then a penalty is applied to a driver or a number of drivers, which then could affect the actual results from the previous race. So here you are able to amend how many points each driver has in their online championship. So say for example, we're just going to quickly pretend that the first round was actually run and we finished in the order of the drivers as they are listed here. So I'm going to quickly just set up the points. Oh, see those here, didn't want to actually do that. 6. I'm not entirely sure that that is 100% correct. I don't think it is. But let's say that those are the points there that the drivers had in their online championship at the moment. These are actually knocked them around a little bit. There we go. So that's more accurate and should be what the point scoring system that you would actually get when you actually basically fall the top 10 in each round. Now let's say for instance that Nismo actually punted Squirrel off the track in order to get the race win after the first round. Squirrel took Nismo to the stewards and the stewards applied a disqualification penalty to Nismo. What you'll be able to do here is actually adjust the points. So you'll be able to take away 25 points. You'll be able to bump him up to 25, put him up to 18, 15, 12, so on and so forth. And you can actually adjust the points in one increment. You can actually put people down into minus points, and the range actually goes from minus 999 up to 999. So if you do use a different point system in your league other than the standard F1 25 points for first position down to 1 point for 10th position, you can actually adjust it here as well if you so wish. Obviously you need to do a little bit of calculations and adjust accordingly for each round, but it's possible to adjust the championship standings here and then save those as well. Now the driver roster can actually be edited as well. You can go in and actually change people's cars during the mid-season and select new liveries and save those. You can also randomize the cars as well within the confines of the car classes that you actually restricted the online championship to when first creating the online championship. And at the moment where I haven't actually launched the first round, I can go ahead and actually add more drivers to my online championship too. Once the first round has actually begun, you will not be able to add any more drivers to your online championship. You'll be locked to those who are already competing in it. However, you will be able to actually delete drivers from your online championship as well. Sorry Squirrel, I just kicked you out of my online championship there. Going back, likewise with the team roster, you can, before the first round, add teams and edit teams, shift people around between the teams, and you can also delete the entirety of teams. But once the online championship has completed its first round, you will not be able to edit the teams, as of course it will affect the team standings. So that's pretty much everything to do with the editing of the online championship. Obviously once I'm happy with those settings I could just hit save. So now as you can see I'm actually now in a GTE car. My current position in my championship is 8th, even though we haven't actually done the first round. It's where we went and edited the standings previously. Now when it actually comes to launching each round of your online championship and when you want to actually race, let's say for instance it's now actually the 10th of December and it's now 7 o'clock in the evening. you can go ahead and hit the join lobby button, and what this will do is actually load up all the settings that I had set up for this round and actually invite all the drivers who are involved in my online championship into the lobby. Now obviously they need to accept that invite to actually get into the lobby, and then once all your drivers are in, you hit start and it goes into the usual online lobby race flow. Essentially you go into the practice session if you've got a practice session line up, if you go into the qualifying, or go straight to the race if you don't have a practice or qualifying, and it works in the same way as it does in a normal online lobby. Once the round has actually been completed though, you will actually be returned to this main screen here. You won't be returned to the lobby, and what this will allow you to be able to do is for the admin, if they really wanted to, is to launch the next round straight after. Obviously if you're planning on doing these split across the course of days, weeks or even months, then obviously the admin wouldn't launch the next round. But if you're just having a fun evening with mates and you basically want to do a championship across an evening or a weekend, you could do rounds one after the other straight away as you get returned to this screen, and all the admin will need to do is, once a round has been completed, is hit the join lobby button again, and then that will actually launch the next round of the championship. Where we haven't completed the round number hasn't actually updated. Likewise, when you're participating in an online championship, you'll get the same options that you see here for an admin. However, you won't have the edit button. You'll have view info. Join lobby will be greyed out, but once the lobby has been made live by the admin, that button will turn green, and obviously you'll be able to join through this way if you don't join through the friends invite through the platform system friends system. And then you've also got the option to be able to delete an online championship that you've been involved to participate in as well. So that is going to be it for this guide to online championships. Obviously we've gone through the creation process, editing an online championship, and then talked through how they'll work once they're up and running and you're playing through various rounds. If you do have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I shall try and get back to you as soon as possible. Feel free to consider subscribing to the channel and also hit that like button. It'll be very much appreciated. But other than that, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully I shall see you soon, but in the meantime, take care.